So this film is about the editing that we have done so far. So the finished scenes that we have edited are the graveyard scene, the scene outside the femme fatale's house between the femme fatale and her father, Jake watching through the window and seeing the dad answer the phone, and the pub scene. So the scenes that we need to do are the beating up scene after the pub and the final murder scene, but we haven't actually filmed these yet, so we'll have to film them first. So the opening of the film, the opening scene, the graveyard, is my favourite part so far. We added the voiceover as like a narration so the audience understand about Jake, and they're let into a brief description about him and his life. I thought that this works really well, and to do this we had to use the voiceover tools on the Mac. So this is the voiceover tool that we used, and basically all you have to do is press the record button and then Jake spoke, and that was it. It was really simple and easy, and then we could put it straight into our sequence. The song that we chose, which is called Intro by the XX, also works really well and creates a good atmosphere. And like my analysis video, we timed the song so as it becomes more upbeat, there is a smooth transition into the school scene, because we wanted that bit, the school bit, to be a bit more upbeat, a bit more fast-paced. Also, we're not sure yet. Although there is speech in it, we're not sure if we're going to keep it in there, so we needed the music to be louder. The drum beat throughout the song sounds like a heartbeat, so we thought that this fits in really well, like especially at the beginning with the graveyard. It sounds like it could be Jake's heartbeat. And also we found that this song fits in really well with our genre and the style of our film. It's quite grungy, but it's also quite depressing sounding, which is what we wanted. So we wanted to have the flashbacks in the opening to go with the voiceover, but we weren't sure whether it would look like flashbacks or not. Like, we weren't sure if the audience would understand what's going on. So to do this, we used a tool to make it look more glowing, and we also increased the brightness a lot. So yeah, this I feel has worked really well, and it looks more like a flashback, so the audience will understand what's going on. We've also tried to make our transitions really smooth. So from the graveyard scene to the school scene, there's a shot of Jake's back, and then when we go to the school scene, it zooms out, and then it's a person's back, which we thought is quite good, because it's quite misleading to the audience, because they assume that it's Jake's back when actually it's somebody else's back. So the school scene, we thought, when we're walking through the corridors, we thought could be slightly too long, and when we showed our teacher, he also agreed and said that it's slightly too long. So then we thought that this would be a good spot to put the titles in, as it would give time for the audience to read them. So yeah, and another tool we used was a crossfade, because obviously, like I said earlier, we wanted the music to become louder when it was at the school scene. We used the crossfade so it gradually got louder. So this is how we got our flashback effect. So we went on to effects, then video filters, then glow and bloom, and we decided that this was the most effective and most realistic to look like a flashback. We then put it in our sequence and our timeline and adjusted the levels of how much glowiness and brightness we wanted, and then we also adjusted our contrast and brightness by making our brightness higher and our contrast lower. So again, another scene that I'm really pleased with and thought we'd edited really well is the scene of the femme fatale and her father inside their house having an argument. So yeah, I think that the editing looks really smooth, and we have a variety of shots and angles. So although the lighting is really good already, we thought that we could enhance it by turning up the contrast and brightness, so we could think about doing this. And also, it's not finished yet. We need to finish editing the part where the dad comes outside to see Jake, but so far I'm really pleased with this, and like I said, a variety of shots, over the shoulder shots, low angle shot, and a close-up of the femme fatale's face. And also the lighting is really good. It's like really low key, and obviously they're standing in front of Venetian blinds, so the light coming through has a really good effect. We thought that in this scene where Jake walks up to the house, we might have to have some sort of sound in there, because as we were editing, we realised that there is a loud sound of wind and traffic, because the house we used is on like a main road. So we can either use a song to sort of cover the sound up, or we'd get rid of the sound completely as Jake is walking up to the house and have a track in that we'd have to pick. And the bit where Jake's on the phone, we also added in a sound of like an phone ringing, and that's worked really well as well. So when it came to editing the pub scene, we actually, we're still doing it, but we actually found this the hardest scene to edit. And we realised this because when we were filming and acting, me and Jake sort of improvised, so we didn't always do like the same hand movement, or we weren't always like looking the same way, and we also didn't say everything, like our lines exactly the same. So when it came to editing this, the continuity was really bad. So like, for example, when we filmed it, we did an over-the-shoulder shot of me whilst we were having our conversation, and once we'd done that, we did an over-the-shoulder shot of looking at Jake, also doing the conversation. So when we came to editing this, when we wanted the camera looking at Jake and then to cut to look at me, we noticed that sometimes I was like stirring my straw or sipping on it, and then when we cut back, I wasn't. So obviously this is really bad continuity, and we didn't know what to do. So the only thing we could do was to place this with a close-up of Jake's face, which works okay, but it looks slightly jumpy and it looks a bit out of place. Doesn't look as smooth as we wanted it to. Another issue we had when it came to editing this scene was the sound, because obviously we were in a public place. There were lots of people talking in the background. So again, when we wanted to have a shot, reverse shots, or over the shoulder shots, some of the shots were louder than others, and also if somebody was like, there was a specific part where somebody was laughing, and then when we cut it to go to a shot of me, obviously that loud laugh that was in the background was cut off, so it sounded like really odd. So we had to use a completely different clip again for this, which caused a bit of trouble. But overall, the pub scene's looking really good, and the lighting looks really good. We're going to think about adding maybe some music, maybe some like old-fashioned music, 1940s, to like go in the background. And also we need to think about lighting and whether we want to like increase the contrast and brightness or not.